G'day guys, how are you going? Well, and no, I'm not broken down just because the bonnet's up, but I am going to show you my new dual battery setup that I've now installed in the Patrol. After putting that second fridge in, it's changed big time. Let's check it out. Righto, so here's the first battery in my dual battery setup. This is just my start battery. Look, every vehicle's got one of these, nothing fancy. Just starts the motor, pretty simple, and runs my winch when I'm out there using it out in the bush. Other than that, that's about it. We'll go over there where the other one is, or was. Let's go and check that out. Righto, so as you can see, this is now where the changes really start to begin, because I've got rid of my heavy, big, bulky lead acid battery that once sat in here. That used to run all my camping accessories when I was out there camping in the bush. I've now changed that for a lithium dual battery setup that now runs all my camping accessories in my four-wheel drive, but it's not in here. Let's go and check out where I've put that. Righto, so this is now where I've got my lithium battery is mounted down in here under my false floor that I've got. I'll just pull this cover off and I'll show you where it sits. It sits in here really nicely. That's just a protective cover that I had made to sit over the top of it, just to give it some sort of protection there and make it look nice and neat. But there it is. Down in there is now my lithium battery. It's a slimline battery. Fits in there really, really nicely. Now, when you're going to go, if you're going to look at doing this lithium battery change, which is certainly the way to go going forward with running all your camping accessories, because there's just so many benefits for them, but a couple of things you really need to take in mind, and one is where you're going to fit it, where you're going to mount it with inside your four-wheel drive, because lithium batteries really can't go underneath your bonnet, because they don't like to be mounted in a hot environment. So you've got to find somewhere where you're going to put it. So that's why I put it down in there. Nice and neatly down in there. And the other big one is when you're going to go with one of these, because you can't put it under the bonnet, it's got to go in your vehicle somewhere, is just the size of these things. Where are you going to be able to mount them, where you can fit them inside your rig, whether it's a wagon like this or a tray back or something like that. But they do come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. As I said, this one is a slimline, so it's about 80-90 mil in height, a couple of 100 mil wide, but this one's probably about 500 long, so they're pretty long to get that slimline under there. It's a 100 amp hour battery. But you know, you can get bigger ones, normal shape size batteries and that sort of thing, but then they're big, bulky. So that's the sort of dilemma with going to lithium, is where you're going to put them, and also the cost too. You know, they're fairly costly to go change over to a lithium battery, but in the long run, I reckon it's going to be certainly well worth it. And running all your camping accessories going forward, lithium is certainly a great way to go. And one of the big advantages too with changing over to lithium, and that's purely the weight factor. Just the weight difference is massive. Like this battery, 100 amp hour battery, is about the same size amperage that I had under the bonnet in a lead acid battery, but it's about half the weight. Like this is about 15 kilo, as opposed to the battery that I had under the bonnet there. They're about close on 30 kilos. So there's a lot of advantages there with weight savings. And then just mounted down beside my lithium battery down there is I've now got a fuse box. So everything's individually fused as well. Heap of accessories in my vehicle, not. I've got two fridges now, runs my pie oven and my inverter, which is over the other side. I'll show you where that's mounted. But yeah, that's the fuse box there for those 4 items. That is it. That's all I need. So keep it simple is the way to go. And then what manages my dual battery setup, the lithium battery down here, is on the back wall here, I've got mounted a Red Arc 40 amp DC-DC charger, so that keeps this battery all nicely charged up. Beside that, I've got a little unit here with 2 cigarette lighter sockets in it. I've got 2 USB points in it that I can plug phones and cameras and whatever else in it if I need some. But the cigarette lighter socket will be really easily, because will be really handy actually, because in my awning here I've got a LED light strip in here with a cigarette lighter socket on it, and that'll plug in there really nicely. And also just beside that there's a little digital readout, give me the voltage of 13.1 volts going through it at the moment. So sitting nicely right where I want it. And also one thing that's pretty handy with being able to monitor how much charge is still in that battery all the time is on my phone, I've got this app. So I've got this app on my phone there that's connected directly down to that battery down there. So it gives me a readout all the time so I can see what's happening with it. As you can see, it's currently sitting at 87.2% charge in that lithium battery down there. Sitting on 17 degrees, so it gives me a temperature readout as well, so I know, what's happening with the temperature, where it's sitting down there, tucked in under there. At the moment there's no current draw. Even though both those fridges are switched on, there's no current draw coming out of the battery at the minute, because both those fridges are sitting at temperature, so the little motors aren't running, so no current draw coming out of it at that time. Up in the top corner there, yep, 100 amp hour battery, and also 13.3 volts is what's sitting in that battery at the moment. But you know, 100 amp hour, I can hear a few of you saying, well, 100 amp hour is not going to be anywhere near big enough to run the accessories that, you know, that I need to run in this. But the thing you got to take into account, which I've had to, is the size of these batteries. You know, to go to a 200 amp hour battery now, it just simply wouldn't fit. You know, it was too high and too big. It just simply wouldn't fit in the space where I wanted to put it down under there, because I didn't want to put it anywhere in the back here. It just takes up way too much room. So if I find out, you know, down the track that, you know, that 100 amp hour battery is not quite cutting the mustard and keeping up with, you know, the accessories that I'm running off it, I can get another one and I could put it in over the other side, slide it in down underneath that false floor, piggyback those two batteries together, and then that would give me then a 200 amp hour battery. Ample, heaps of it. But you know, so they're things you got to take into account, that where are you going to put these batteries, because they are big and they are huge, especially the slim lines. Like I said, you know, that one's about 500 long. It is a big long battery, and that was the only place where I wanted to put it, out of the way, nicely tucked in down there. And I also have done a number of tests with this app here, screenshotting you know, the results there of a night time, coming in the next day, checking to see how much it's fallen overnight, and very little. Now the best I've got out of it at the moment is having the Patrol sitting for completely 2 days, no engine running, no solar panel coming in to recharge that battery, and the best I've got is 2 days. So that was taking it from pretty close on 100% full charge, and it dropped down to the mid-20s or low 20s, about 22, 23%. Charge was still in that battery after 2 days, those accessories running. Now I'm more than happy with that. So there you go, guys, take that into account if you're going to go lithium, the size you're going to need, how much amperage is coming out of your accessories, which will determine what size battery you're going to need, and more importantly, where are you going to put it. But down there works an absolute treat, where I've got it sitting down there. Okay, so then if I'm, you know, going to be parked up for a while and I need to get a bit of charge back into that lithium battery that's parked under there, I've got my solar panel here. I've got an Anderson plug just at the back here, just plug straight into there, and that's it. That solar panel now is putting some power back into that lithium battery that's running on my camping accessories. We'll go around the corner here and we'll show you the final bit. Now where my inverter's mounted. It's in the top spot. Let's go and check that out. Righto, so here's my inverter now mounted nice and neatly down under here with my little 4-panel plug-in that I can plug with my laptop and computers and you know, my phones and whatever else into there when I'm out there camping out in the bush. This also runs off that lithium dual battery over the other side. I used to have this mounted up on the back of my cargo barrier, but down here, nice and neat, out of the way, and just works a treat. So there you go, guys. That's my lithium dual battery setup that runs all of my camping accessories, all 4 of them, and hopefully it's given you some ideas maybe for setting up your dual battery setup in case you're looking to make the change. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one. Hooroo.